A simple village setting in Odoa, with young Joseph helping his father, a schoolteacher and church leader, in a humble home. Young Joseph, around 8 years old, listens attentively as his father teaches him about God. He is shown praying quietly under a tree, with the sun shining softly through the leaves. Joseph A.O. Babalola grew up in a God-fearing family in the small village of Odoa. From an early age, he was prayerful, hard-working, and eager to know God. Joseph, now an adult, operating a steamroller on a dusty road with co-workers in the background. He wipes his brow, looking content yet reflective as he works on building roads. As a young man, Joseph became a steamroller operator, helping to build roads across Nigeria. But deep inside, he felt God had a bigger purpose for him. Joseph hears a booming voice while sitting by the steamroller. His eyes widen in shock and awe as he looks up at the sky. The sky seems brighter, and Joseph looks deeply moved as he realizes it is God speaking to him. In 1928, while working, Joseph heard a clear voice saying, "Leave your job and serve me." Though afraid, he couldn't ignore the call. Joseph kneeling in a small, candle-lit room with a Bible open before him. He is deep in prayer, and his face shows determination. Description: time passes, and Joseph is seen growing more confident and peaceful as he prays and fasts. Joseph spent days praying and fasting, asking God for guidance. Finally, he was ready to dedicate his life to preaching the gospel. Joseph stands in a small village square, passionately preaching to a small group of villagers. Some listen intently, while others appear skeptical. Description: people begin to gather as Joseph speaks, and a sick man walks toward him, asking for prayer. Joseph started preaching in small villages. At first, the crowd was small, but soon, miracles began to happen. A blind man regains his sight after Joseph prays. The crowd gasps in amazement, and some fall to their knees in gratitude. More people gather as word spreads. A woman in the crowd throws her idol to the ground, weeping in repentance. God used Joseph mightily. The sick were healed, the blind could see, and lives were transformed wherever he went. A massive crowd gathers in Elasa, filling an open field. Joseph, holding a Bible, prays with his hands lifted to the sky. People cry out in repentance, while others burn their idols. The atmosphere is electric with faith. People are dancing, singing, and rejoicing in God's power. In 1930, a great revival broke out in Elasa, led by Joseph. Thousands came from all over Nigeria to see the power of God at work. Joseph being arrested by colonial authorities as a small crowd watches. He remains calm and smiles faintly, unshaken. Description: traditional leaders and authorities argue among themselves, but Joseph is later shown released and preaching again. Despite opposition and arrests, Joseph remained bold. He knew God was with him and continued his mission fearlessly. Joseph alone on a mountaintop, praying fervently. The wind blows gently, and the sun rises in the distance, casting a warm glow. His Bible is beside him, and his face is filled with peace and focus as he communes with God. Joseph's life was built on prayer. He often went to mountains and forests, spending days seeking God's strength and direction. Joseph and a group of men praying together in a small church. A wooden signboard reads Christ Apostolic Church. Description: the group begins singing joyfully, and the scene transitions to a larger church filled with worshippers. In 1941, Joseph helped establish the Christ Apostolic Church, which became one of Nigeria's leading Pentecostal churches. An elderly Joseph sits peacefully under a tree, reading his Bible. The scene fades into a quiet church service, where people celebrate his life. The screen shows a simple inscription: Joseph A.O. Babalola, 1904-1959. On July 26, 1959, Joseph A.O. Babalola went to be with the Lord. His legacy lives on, inspiring millions to trust in God and live a life of prayer and faith. Young people praying and worshiping in a modern Christ Apostolic Church. An image of Joseph appears in the background, smiling. Description: the scene fades to white with the words, "Be obedient, be prayerful, and trust in God's plan." Joseph's life reminds us that when we obey God, pray without ceasing, and trust in Him, extraordinary things can happen.